All right, so we're diving into the world of Colin O'Brady, modern-day explorer and endurance athlete. The sources you gave us really paint a vivid picture, from a near-fatal accident to becoming a world record-breaking athlete. It's a story about pushing limits. So let's start with that accident, that moment that could changed everything.
Yeah, what's interesting about O'Brady is that it's not just physical strength, it's mental strength, too. He was only 22 years old when he was severely burned in Thailand, over 25% of his body. And the doctors told him he might never walk normally again.
That's right. And, most people, I think, would have just given up.
Hmm.
But O'Brady, he used this as a turning point. There's this quote that really stood out to me. Our defeats cannot be separated from our victories. How do you think that philosophy played a role in his recovery?
Yeah.
And then beyond that, to become a professional triathlete?
Well, it's like he reframed his narratives. He didn't see the accident as a defeat, but as a challenge to overcome. And he combined that new perspective with a, relentless rehab. And he achieved what the doctors thought was impossible.
It's incredible. So this experience really lays the foundation for his later achievements. The Explorers Grand Slam, the 7 summits, and then Antarctica.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin with all of that?
Well, let's start with the Explorers Grand Slam. It really highlights O'Brady's drive. We're not just talking about climbing Everest. We're talking about the highest peak on every continent, plus skiing to both the North and South Poles, all in a world record time of 139 days.
Wow.
Think about that. The logistics, the physical and mental endurance.
Yeah. The sheer scale of these endeavors is just mind-blowing. I mean, the 7 summits span the globe. It's a collection of the world's most challenging peaks.
Absolutely.
Each with their own unique dangers and obstacles.
And each peak was like a training ground
But-
for something bigger.
Yeah.
It was all building up to Antarctica.
Exactly. Antarctica almost feels like a separate category of achievement. You seem particularly drawn to this part of his story. What resonates with you the most about this feat?
The isolation. It's just remarkable. 932 miles across the most unforgiving terrain on Earth, completely solo, completely unsupported. He carried everything he needed: food, fuel, shelter, all while navigating crevasses and battling those brutal winds.
Can't even imagine.
And that final push, a 32-hour nonstop effort to reach the finish line.
Yeah. I read about that. Unbelievable.
Almost superhuman.
It does. It really does.
The New York Times called it one of the most remarkable achievements in polar history.
I saw that quote.
It wasn't just about the physical act, but about proving that the human spirit, with the right mindset, can overcome anything.
He didn't just conquer Antarctica. He conquered doubt, fear, all those internal limits we set for ourselves.
And that message resonates far beyond exploration.
Absolutely.
He doesn't just keep these lessons to himself. He uses his platform to inspire others, to push their boundaries,
Right.
whether it's physical, mental, or creative.
He wants to share that feeling.
Yes, that's of accomplishment.
Of realizing your own potential.
Yeah.
And that's where Beyond 72 comes in, right?
Yeah.
His nonprofit. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah. Beyond 72 is all about empowering people to break free from those limitations. It encourages us to look beyond what we think is possible.
So he's not just saying go climb a mountain. He's saying find your mountain,
Exactly.
whatever that is for you,
He's providing a framework, a roadmap
to help people who feel stuck.
to realize their potential.
It's really about turning the impossible into possible.
He shows them that one bit more is always possible.
But you need the right tools and the mindset to get there.
You got it.
It sounds like he's really bridging the gap between these incredible feats of endurance and the everyday challenges we all face.
Right.
He's taking these extreme experiences
Yeah.
and applying them to something we can all relate to. The pursuit of a better, more fulfilling life.
He is.
It's inspiring.
And it's easy to think, well, that's great for him. He's an elite athlete. But what about me? But that's what's so great about O'Brady. He's not just an athlete. He's a thought leader. He gives you tools to apply these principles to your own life.
Right. Like his book, The 12-Hour Walk. You give us a bit more detail on that?
Sure. The basic idea is we all have these mental barriers, these Mount Everests, that we think we can't overcome.
Yeah.
So O'Brady asks, what would happen if you just dedicated 12 focused hours to confronting that obstacle, that goal you've been putting off, that thing you keep saying you'll do?
12 hours. It almost feels achievable, like a dare.
Right.
What kinds of things does he suggest people do?
Well, it depends. You mentioned in your notes that you want to write a short story. That could be your 12-hour challenge.
Right.
Or for someone else, it could be training for a marathon, learning a new skill, organizing that closet you've been putting off.
Right. It's about identifying that thing you've been avoiding.
And committing the time to it.
Right. So it's not about the activity itself,
Yes.
but about the mental shift
Yes.
that happens when you push past your doubts.
Exactly.
You're proving to yourself that you're capable of more.
In 12 hours. It's long enough to get into a flow state,
Right.
but not so long that it feels impossible.
I like that.
He also talks about mindfulness. During those 12 hours,
Okay.
he says it's not about powering through, it's about being present with the discomfort, finding a rhythm.
So it's a form of mental training
Yes,
that can be applied to anything.
absolutely.
Learning to manage your inner state.
You learn to manage your thoughts, your physical sensations, your reaction to pressure and fatigue.
So the physical activity is almost secondary.
In a way, the real takeaway is the mental training. And this isn't a one-time thing. He encourages people to do this regularly.
To keep pushing their boundaries.
Yeah.
It's like building a mental muscle.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
We should also mention his TED Talk. It's got over 1.5 million views.
Yeah.
It clearly resonates with people.
It-
What are some of the key takeaways from that talk?
Well, he talks about limiting beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves. That hold us back,
Right.
he says. The only thing standing between you and your impossible is the belief that it's impossible.
Wow.
He challenges us to question those beliefs.
To really think about it.
What evidence do you have that it's impossible?
Yeah.
Or are you just afraid to try?
We often limit ourselves
Yeah.
based on assumptions or past experiences.
And he says, a lot of these limitations come from a fear of failure.
Yeah.
We're so afraid of failing that we don't even try.
Right.
But O'Brady says, failure is an essential part of growth.
He reframes it.
Yes.
He sees setbacks as opportunities.
To learn and come back stronger.
I like that.
He shares stories from his expeditions where things went wrong,
Right.
where he had doubts, where he felt despair, but he always found a way to push through.
And he learned from those experiences.
Exactly.
And he uses those experiences to connect with people.
He's not just this superhuman figure.
Right.
He's someone who has faced challenges.
Like all of us.
And that makes his message so powerful.
So you've got the book, the TED Talk.
Yeah.
Beyond 72.
Yeah,
It seems like he's really committed to spreading this message.
he is.
Are there other ways he connects with people?
Well, he's a very popular speaker. He does keynote addresses, motivational talks, workshops.
Workshops.
Yeah.
So he works directly with people.
He helps them identify their goals and develop strategies.
Wow. He sounds like a very energetic person.
He is.
I bet his energy is contagious.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of impact do you think he has on people?
I think it's empowering.
Yeah.
He's not just motivating people. He's giving them tools to create real change in their lives,
To take control.
to realize they have the power, to rewrite their own stories.
It's almost like he's giving them permission
Yes.
to dream bigger
To push past those boundaries.
and see what they're truly capable of.
That's it.
That's the inspiring part. You know what strikes me? O'Brady's story. It's not just about extreme athletes. It's about potential.
It is.
The potential we all have.
One of the sources you sent, a blog post, someone who attended one of his talks, talked about how his message completely changed their perspective on their career, gave them the courage to pursue a passion project.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. It's not just about recounting his achievements. It's about the mindset, the strategies, the philosophy.
Right.
And the best part, it's all transferable.
It is.
Whether you're facing a creative block
Yeah.
or a career dilemma
Mm-hmm.
or a personal challenge, these principles of resilience, goal setting, self-belief, they can be applied to anything.
Absolutely.
It's not about being Colin O'Brady. It's about taking the core principles and adapting them to your own life.
To your own goal.
Our own definition of impassable.
I like how you put that.
It's about finding your own Antarctica.
Right.
That challenge that seems daunting,
Yeah.
it's also incredibly exciting.
That thing that pulls at you.
That whispers, what if?
We all have that Antarctica. Maybe it's not crossing a frozen continent.
Yeah.
But it represents that leap of faith.
A commitment to pushing beyond our limits.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listener walks away with?
A sense of possibility.
Yeah.
Empowerment.
Empowerment.
That those impossible dreams, those goals that seem out of reach,
Yeah.
they are within your grasp.
You just got to reach out and grab them.
It starts with a shift in perspective, a willingness to embrace discomfort,
And a commitment to taking those first steps.
even when those steps are shaky.
It's about remembering that quote. One bit more is always possible.
When you think you've hit your limit, there's always more.
More strength, more creativity, more resilience.
O'Brady is proof of that. He didn't just cross Antarctica. He crossed the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
He showed us that those boundaries are often self-imposed,
Mental constructs.
that can be broken down and rebuilt.
And that's the most inspiring part.
It's not about replicating his feats. It's about embracing that same spirit, that same commitment to pushing beyond our comfort zones.
To discover what we're truly capable of.
So to our listener, we leave you with this. What's your Antarctica? What's that one thing you're ready to tackle, that dream you're ready to chase?
Yeah.
Go out there and make it happen.